Hi there, this is a strength training video and a skill training video, and it's designed as pre-deadlift training. So we'll learn a strong vertical plank, we'll learn forward hinge, and then later you'll be able to put both of those together and use it to pick up heavy things. So you will need a wall, a piece of wall you can stand against, and then also a stick, a piece of dowel, a broomstick. I've got a ski pole, but any stick that's sort of long enough to track your spine. And we'll start on the wall with vertical plank. So you can move yourself up against the wall, heels against the wall, glutes against the wall, shoulder blades against the wall, and back of your head against the wall. And then we'll organize our muscles into a coordinated and stable, strong vertical plank. So with bare feet or stocking feet, spreading your toes out and then using them to grip into the ground, using your quads to lift up on your kneecaps, so firming your thighs, pressing out slightly on your toes. So your feet won't actually move, you're just pushing your toes out slightly, and that will engage your glutes, and you'll think about squeezing your glutes together like you were trying to crack a walnut. Abs are engaged. So sometimes when our glutes are really on, we tend to float away from the wall, rib cage opening up. Want to bring the abs in, keep the ribs knitted down towards your hip bones. And then from there we can bring our arms out and up, shoulder blades still on the wall, and then we can imagine that we're holding a bar that we're going to bend down. So as we bend the bar down, pinkies come down slightly, and here we're really using our lats. So we'll start from the bottom, gripping with the toes, turning out with the feet, picking up on the kneecaps, squeezing the glutes, abs are engaged, squeezing that bar, and then we can step away from the wall, shake everything out, and we'll take a few moments here before we come back onto the wall and do another contraction, another stable vertical plank. So the vertical plank, all of that contraction together helps keep the spine strong and neutral, and that's really important if you're going to lift up something heavy. And shake out your arms and legs. And if you're training for strength, it's important for your body and your muscles to relax before they contract again. So the muscles can really only recover and get stronger when they get a chance to rest and relax. So if that feels like enough, we can bring our back onto the wall again, heels on the wall, butt on the wall, shoulders on the wall, head on the wall, gripping with the feet, pulling up on the kneecaps, squeezing the glutes, abs are drawing in, arms come up, squeezing that bar, keep breathing, squeeze, 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 feet, kneecaps, glutes, abs, lats, and then we can step away from the wall, shake arms and legs out, give our muscles a chance to recover. Hopefully it gets a little easier each time in that it feels a little more coordinated and it feels easier to have a stronger contraction. So that's not just your muscles getting bigger necessarily, but the neural part of strengthening. So heels against the wall, butt, shoulders, head against the wall, gripping with the feet, pulling up on the kneecaps, squeezing with the glutes, abs are drawing down, knitted to the hip bones, arms come up. Keep breathing, breathing behind the shield of your abs, strength of your rib cage, continuing to grow up tall through your head. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then we can step out from the wall and give another shake out. At this point, we'll move on to hinge after we've done a bit of a shaking out. But if you want to do some more vertical planks, you can always pause or rewind or do a few more as suits you. The next thing we'll do is a hinge. And so here we want to have the same position with our feet, gripping with our toes. We start out deep and tall, and then we can imagine karate chopping into our hip creases and then pushing back with our hips. And then coming up, pushing back with our hips, drawing in on the abdomen here. Shins are fairly vertical, coming all the way up. Another way to test this would be to step out a little further from the wall to make sure that we're not just tipping forward, but that our hips are actually moving back. We can hinge back until our bum just kind of kisses the wall and then come up. And for me, I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna come forward slightly. Weight is even on your feet, weight in your heels, weight on your toes. Coming up. So move nice and slow. Make sure that your abs are stabilizing your back so your ribs stay knitted to your hip bones. If you find that you're having trouble with rounding your back or sometimes overarching your back, it might help to use a stick. So you can bring the stick behind your back, hold it up over your head, hold it into your kind of right over your sacrum, and then keeping your contact with your hips in between your shoulders and the back of your head, starting at a strong vertical plank, hinging the hips back, and then as you go down, and then at the deepest part of your hinge, making sure that you have contact with the back of your head, your upper back, and then with your sacrum, and then coming all the way back. You can do a few more slow reps like this. You might notice if your head comes up and you're looking way forward, that your pole or your broomstick floats off your shoulders. So the broomstick should be touching the back of your head. You don't really want to do more than 5 before you give yourself a chance to shake out. So sets of 5 are, that's a good set for strength training. It gives you a chance to do them slowly enough. You're not rushing through them. You have a chance to think about technique, but it also gives you enough work so that the rest, the recovery part, can do its job. Another way to practice hinging looks even more like a deadlift. You can hold your pole or your broomstick, keep your find the position for your feet. You can spread your toes out, grip them in slightly. Find your vertical plank with your arms straight, holding down onto your pole or your broomstick. And then hinging back, letting your arms be straight, letting the stick come straight down. And then this is a great test of how vertical are your shins, because the pole can pull in towards your shins. So I'll turn sideways and you can see this also. Still getting that feeling with the pole, and I'm pulling my pinky slightly down and together. So really using lats here. So coming in, back is straight, eyes are looking down to keep the neck neutral. Hands are skimming along the outside of the shins. Maybe a pause here. Maybe pushing the pole slightly into your shins so your neck stays long. Feeling the weight even on your feet. Strong vertical plank, so lift up on those kneecaps. Slight pull out or slight push out on the baby toes. So help you use your glutes. Coming down. Coming back up. You want to do about 5 sets of the variation with the pole as well. Shaking it out when you're done. And eventually you could move on to a heavier weighted pole, or you could move on to a kettlebell. I don't have a kettlebell here to show you today, but for that your hands would be close together, but everything else would be the same. The kettlebell would come down in between your ankles and then would hang just in front of you with straight arms as you stand up. And then whenever you're done, shake it out. If you do a couple of sets in the morning, if you feel like you've recovered later in the day, you could also do a few more sets of 5 at different points throughout the day. And I think over time, especially with the practice of helping your muscles to get smarter and more coordinated, getting that neural learning, it does really build strength. So that whether it's groceries that you pick up, or a kid, or a pencil, you'll have good coordinated mechanics for bending over and then picking something up. Thanks for watching.